Welcome to the Sacred Sexuality Project. My name is Mark Weppett, and I'm here to help you live a higher expression of your sexuality. And this week we've got another video on the mature masculine archetypes. And this week we're covering the lover. Now, when you think of the archetype of the lover, you may think that this has to do with being good in bed or something like that. And while this is a quality of the lover kind of energy, this energy is actually needed in many places outside of the bedroom. So the lover archetype, what it does is it really gives life its sweetness, its real connection and meaning and intimacy. And the way that it does this is through creating a balance between giving and receiving. So a full, balanced expression of giving and receiving is at the core of what the lover is all about. So a balanced lover has consciousness around both sides of the equation of giving and receiving, is not blinded to anything. And by maintaining this consciousness of both sides and, really maintaining the balance, it promotes connection and harmony rather than indulgence and division. Maintaining this polarity in balance is like a dance. You need to constantly, fluidly be able to shift between giving and receiving while always being aware of what the other side has going on for them. The biggest obstacle to having balanced lover energy is your own ego. Think of your ego kind of like a planet in a solar system. The bigger this planet is, the bigger your ego is, the more you think that other things should revolve around you. And when you fall into that kind of scenario, you become very imbalanced and you lose half of the equation because all you can really see is your side of things. So I think that the best way to understand what this energy looks like in balance is actually to understand what it looks like when it's not in balance. So let's get started by looking at the giving end of things. So when the giving side of your lover energy is out of balance, it can either show up as non-giving or a disordered kind of giving. So non-giving is pretty simple. Non-giving would be someone who does not really give of themselves to their surrounding things and people. Whether it's they're not giving themselves to their job, they're not giving themselves to their family members, their friends, the people that they interact with. It's basically someone who is kind of closed off and doesn't share their gift with the world. When you give, you want to be giving a gift, and if you don't recognize your own gifts and you don't utilize them in a way that fills the world with goodness, then you are missing this part of the equation. Now, the other way that the giving side of this equation can get messed up is when you have a disordered kind of giving. When you are giving, but you are not being conscious of who is receiving. This kind of scenario can be a little bit tricky to understand, so I'll give you a couple examples. But basically, someone who has a disordered sense of giving usually ends up being perceived as either arrogant or controlling, and ironically, that person usually ends up feeling unappreciated. So for example, let's look at a guy who has a family and he feels like he's constantly giving of himself to provide financial stability to his family, financial comfort. He works really hard, he puts all this time in to bring in money so that his family can live a comfortable lifestyle. So his focus is really on giving money. Now, a lot of issues may arise in his family around money because, he's got a lot of energy invested in it. And the thing is, he might actually find that no one actually really appreciates the kind of time and energy that he's putting in. And the reason for this is because chances are the people in his family, they don't really want more money. What they want is love, and they want support. They want a real father. Now, there could be a number of things going on here in this scenario, but in many cases, I think the problem is that the father in this story, he's giving without really being conscious of what his family actually wants. Chances are, they would actually be happy with less money, but more love and support from him. The father is giving money when the family really wants love. And these kind of scenarios happen all the time in different ways. So other ways that this kind of imbalance can show up is in terms of being controlling or just kind of pushy in a way. So like someone who's controlling, they're someone who they think they're doing good. They think they're helping another person by telling them what to do and forcing them to do this and that. They think they're giving something good, but they're not really aware of what that person actually needs or wants, or whether or not, their input is appropriate. And then, you have people who also kind of put themselves out there too much, you know? Someone who shares too much, someone who gets like really personal and gives you all their problems and stuff like that. They think that they're sharing, they think that they're giving, but you know, they may not be very aware of how they're actually being received. So hopefully that gives you an idea of what imbalanced giving looks like. It's an important thing to understand because so much of what we get out of life is dependent upon what and how we put into it. But the lover is not just about giving, it's also about receiving. So just like with the giving side, there is issues both of being non-receptive and having a disordered receptivity. Okay, so being non-receptive, what that looks like is being essentially cold and closed off. In most cases, the reason that people end up like this is because they open themselves at some point to another to someone, and what happened was that person hurt them. And because of that, they closed themselves off. You know, this could have happened at a very young age. It could have happened, you know, even as a child. You know, as a child is naturally open and trusting. Maybe their parents betrayed them. Maybe their parents hurt them, abused them, or something like that. And at that point, it's going to be hard for them to really open up to another person and give them a chance. And the way that they usually mask this is in kinds of judgment and condemnation and things like that, where they don't let people in because those people are not worthy of being let in. But if you don't open up, you're not going to connect. And if you don't connect, you're not really going to be happy, I don't think. Now, so that's someone who is closed off. That's someone who is non-receptive. Now, you can be receptive, but do it in a disordered way as well. So the kind of the most popular way that people mess up receptivity is kind of entitlement. They think that they should receive everything. You know, they think that I should get what I want, kind of thing. You know, they're only focusing on the receiving end, and they're not really conscious of, you know, the other people that they're looking to give. They're not really aware of what it takes to give, and they have no real appreciation for their gifts. These kinds of situations may be caused by self-worth issues, feeling like you are not good enough, feeling like you are not worthy enough, unless if you get all of this external validation through other people, through financial success, through whatever. And it's going to never really satisfy you, even if you get all of these things, because nothing can really give you self-validation other than, you know, yourself. So by looking at the ways in which the lover is not functioning correctly, I hope you start to get an idea in your head of what it looks like when the lover is functioning correctly. And what it is, it's a beautiful, beautiful dance of giving and receiving in your life. You know, it's when you are giving of yourself to others. You are constantly bringing your light out into the world. But then, you know, you're able to absorb the light around you. You know, whether it's the person next to you, being able to take them and accept them for who they are, whatever it is that they're giving, accepting that, even if it's not necessarily something you like, you can respect it and understand it and let it in to your world. You don't need to push it away, you don't need to deny it. And then maybe it's even just a matter of being able to enjoy the beauty around you, to be penetrated by a stunning sunset or something like that. And you need to be able to flow between these two, it's like a wave between giving and receiving. And when you do that, that's what brings you into this real resonance, that brings you into this real union with life. And without that, everything is going to seem dry and sterile and meaningless. So that's it for the lover. I hope you guys loved it. And next up, we've got the king to tie all these masculine archetypes together. Don't forget to like, to subscribe, to sign up for my newsletter below. And this week is Thanksgiving for all you Americans, so have a happy Thanksgiving and stay clean.